What is up, everybody? So rather than put the guide videos together, which is time consuming, I'm just going to go live here and go through the rest of them. It was a busy day at work, so I figured this was the most efficient way to do it. So if you can join me live, awesome. If you got any questions about what I'm doing, throw them up in the chat. If not, then hopefully this helps you in some fashion, and we'll be going through them all hole by hole the rest of the way. 1 and 2 are up for those interested, but we're going to be doing 3 through 9 the rest of the way. So let's start with 3, and of course as soon as I go live my dog starts going crazy. So this is my opponent's shot. He just laid up on the right there. I was going to try a power hook shot with a Thor 6. It does not end up working out so well. I did see a couple efforts, and I had a comment on a video with on the 19th page where Vince, a 19th guy, was trying the same shot with a Thor 6 and said that it just wasn't working. We need more curl on it. So if you're going to try this, then you're going to want to try it with either an extra mile or an APOC. I think the way that I'm going to end up playing it is with yeah, you see this, it does not go well. So I think I'm just going to do a full overpowered APOC full curl shot in the end. So yeah, because that didn't work out very well. So my second effort didn't work out very well either. But basically I tried playing over here on the left side. With a Thor 6, I've got enough topspin that I think it should work out. And I played it like this on my other account as well. So it worked out pretty well. If you do a plus 20 at a full topspin, plus 20, and you kind of start off stretched out. This shot didn't go so well. I was just kind of seeing what would be possible here, if it would even be possible. I was trying to get it as close to the edge there as possible, and it just didn't work out very well. But my other account, it did work out pretty well. I did roll into the rough, but I was able to save it. So I think the great left hurt me here. I think that's part of the reason why it went in the rough. You can see there, probably still going in either way. So not good, not a good effort, but that's all right. This is I was forfeiting everything just doing a practice today, so no big deal. Hey Scott, hey, thanks for joining us. Yeah, I tried the power hook at first, didn't work. Ian played APOC Titan, need 9+ wind. Yeah, okay. Did he try a hook shot, or was that just a full curled APOC? So this was my second effort. I got a 10 win, so that worked out nicely. And you saw, let me go back here real quick. I was looking at the chat. As I'm working through my landing position here, you see how the ball kind of just wants to stay to the left. So I end up putting a little bit more spin to the right, and I think we're going to end up going with like a half a bar or curl to the right in order to keep it out in the fairway. I think this is going to be a relatively safe shot if we can get it down. I'm going to start and leave it to where it gives me some leeway in terms of catching the rough there deep, and then go plus 20. So this was I played it as a 12, so that's going to be like 7 and a quarter rings thereabouts. But you want to leave yourself some leeway there, and you got to have a driver with a ton of topspin to be able to get it over there. Because this one, even though I put that additional spin to the right on, it ended up hanging out to the left and going in the rough. I was able to still get up there from there, up onto the green from the rough. I had an opponent here with an APOC 7 that played with a basic ball, and he caught the front pad just going full overpower. So let me show you here. I couldn't believe he was just playing a basic ball, someone with an APOC 7. So Ian did a 17 ring hook with an APOC. Yeah, because it's against the wind, so 17 rings, half a ball curl. Okay, yeah, that's another way to do it. If you're going to play on the left here, then basically all you got to do is just make sure to put that right spin on. You need a driver with a lot of top spin, but like you can see here, even if you do end up in the rough, you can still make it up there, no big deal for the eagle. But your first shot has to be good. So I think that the hook shot over is probably going to be the play, but this gives you another look at it, something you can try. You can try the rough iron, rough bump even. I tried to just do full back and full left, and it worked out all right. Just did a full adjustment, -10 since it's uphill, and it worked out all right. But you see it just comes in deep, and you'll be able to save eagle from there, obviously, but hopefully we'll be able to get a better look at it. I think that the APOC hook is probably going to be the way that we go. All right, moving right along to hole number 4. Got a par 3 here. Like most folks, I'm going to be playing this with a B52. You can play it pretty much the exact same way with a Goliath, but I just prefer the B52 for the accuracy. I've got a 5 on both accounts. So my first effort, I went with 2 back, 1 left. It worked out pretty nicely. Since it's usually plays as a +20, but you see we're just like ahead of a min. So I just wanted to do +10 at a min since it's kind of in between mid and min here. So I end up going a little bit under 1-to-1. I did like 6.5 rings, and it comes up just shy. So, but I think the 2 back, but then I played my next one at a +20. I think the 2 back is something I'm going to stick with. The adjustment there, though, you can see where I was aiming versus where the ball landed. Let's back it up and see where the ball landed. You see how far back that is compared to with where my aim point was? So it's landing like way back there. So +20 at a min is how I played it the next time. And it rolls up there really nicely, but you can see it just barely misses the rough and goes up there and just comes to the left and short. So next effort, I did the exact same spin, but I just did a +20 over adjustment instead of a +10 at a min. And this one ended up going a little bit deep and left. So I think I'm going to knock that left side spin off and just play it strictly as 2 back. You can see my landing position here. I'm kind of going right at it. I think we want to go a little bit further to the right because the green is kind of going to funnel it to the left. So you can see my landing position there. The +20 works out a little bit better. It ends up being almost 1-to-1 at this point. So the wind was down a little bit. I think I adjusted 7 rings instead, so just under 1-to-1. But the +20 works out a little better. It gives us a little bit more leeway in terms of making that, but it kicked real hard to the left and went deep. So I think offset it a little bit more to the right, take off that spin to the left. I think that's what we're going to do. 2 back spin, +20 at a min adjust. All right, hole number 5. My opponent went first here. So I played this one with an Apocalypse, full left spin, Kingmaker. I did 1 top, and that worked out pretty nicely. I caught just a little bit of Ian's stream earlier, and I saw he ended up using 2, and it was still safe. So you can do 1 to 2 here. I think 2 will be all right. I saw one of his attempts came in a little bit further to the right than I think he probably would have wanted. But 20% over adjustment here as well. So start your aim point on the fairway, adjust, and then push back up. So you see me spin and push back up to max distance after my adjustment. And I think we're going to end up going with about a half a ball of curl to the left. I just did a smidge here, and it worked out okay. But I think that we're going to need a little bit more curl. You can see it kind of hangs out to the right there. Great ball right might hurt us. So 1 top, 2 top. If you do 2 top, then more curl. So I think we're going to end up doing like probably another half a ball or a half a ball on the dot, more curl there. So this was my second attempt, and I did the same spin, full left 1 top, +20. So after my adjustment, same thing, spin around and then go push it back up to max. I added a little bit more curl in on this effort, and it worked out a little bit better for me. So yeah, just keep in mind if you've got an APOC 5 or an extra mile level 8, this is a safe shot to play. Any other driver, you're probably going to end up needing a little bit of overpower. So if you don't have the equipment, then that can make it a little bit more difficult. But as you can see, a little bit more curl, and that one came in a lot nicer for us. So let's look at our second shots. Ed's effort, we don't care about. So as I was looking around at the landing position here, I decided I was not going to use any topspin. It works. It comes in at a real good speed if you get that distance on your drive. But you see where I'm wiggling it back and forth right here? There's a spot to the left where the ball's going to start kicking to the left at the end. That's what we want to try and avoid. This right here. We want to keep it to the right of that. So we don't want the ball kicking to the left off of our landing position. So that's what we're looking for. So I use 2 bars of left spin so that we can avoid that area, but no top spin at all. And that should, I think, work out pretty nicely. It came in pretty good. I ended up going, I guess I went 2 1/4 with this one. Offset there. And I just played it at 1-to-1. I was kind of trying to see, I couldn't really remember if this was over or under adjusted. So I just went at 1-to-1, 7.2 on the dot with that 2 1/4, offset 1 square to the left. And it's a good speed. We're just going to have to figure out the offset here for our various wins. It comes in real nicely, but just a little to the right. So we need to offset just a touch more or over adjust just a little bit more. I did a little bit of both with my second effort. So yeah, hold on, let me find it. So with the second attempt, is same kind of thing. I'll show you the landing position again where it starts to kick over to the left. And that's the area we're going to try and avoid. So if you wiggle your landing position around a little bit, you see there on the left-hand side where it starts going to the left, that's the one you want to avoid. So just to the right of that landing position is where I think we're going to go. And I offset this one a little bit more. And I played it at a plus 10% this time. And this one hangs out a little bit to the left. So I think that's an indication that playing it 1-to-1 is probably the way to go. Plus 10 didn't work out so well. I think that ends up kicking it over to that side that we're trying to avoid, that landing position where it ends up pushing it further to the left that we're not looking for. So I think 2 1/4 side spin so that we can avoid that and play it at 1-to-1, but just offset it just a little bit more to the left. And I think that's how we're going to do this one. Get that one dialed in. It's probably one of our best chances for Albie in this course. So, all right, moving right along. Hole number, what's this one, 6? God, I can't even remember. This one I'm going to be playing on the right side. Our opponent here had a pretty decent shot playing on the left. We can take a look at it. But it rolls deep and into the bunker, and that's kind of what we're trying to avoid. So you can play this shot with an APOC, but you don't want to put too much topspin on it because it'll go through here and find the bunker. So if you're going to be playing this shot, I would be sure to have a Malibu in your bag if you have a high-level Malibu. My drive with this one, I ended up going a little bit too far into the rough, so that's not even something that I saved, apparently. I played with a Titan. If you go into the rough, I played it as a mid adjustment with this one, plus 10%. The plus 10% ended up being a little bit too much. So that's kind of the same spot where we're going to be landing if we're going to be playing it the same way with our short iron. But the plus 10% ends up being too much. So just right at a mid is how we're going to play it because that caught the rough, going at 10% over. So that's what we're trying to avoid. Second effort went better. Second effort went much better. So Apocalypse, full top, full left. I start my adjustment out from where it's at 0 or just over that, and playing a little bit close to the left side there, and a plus 20% over adjustment. So after my adjustment's done, I started plus 4, okay. But after my adjustment's done, you should be just barely in overpower. So a little notch of overpower, full top, full left. Just a tiny bit of left curl because I wanted to avoid going in the rough like I did, and I ended up hitting it great left. So that's something I want to avoid, but that great left didn't hurt me. Great right could have ended up in the rough like my other one did. So that's something that I don't want to do. So great left and that little bit of left curl keeps me away from the rough on the right. So that's going to leave us this lovely little short iron. This short iron is one of the easier shots in the game, I think. One of the easier ones in this tournament. It's going to be one that we're going to want to bury often. So I ended up using 1 bar of backspin right here in front of the rough and doing just a regular mid adjustment. No elevation, just straight up mid. You're kind of right in between, but the mid adjustment ends up working out perfectly. So as you can see right here, the 1 bar backspin, offset it just barely to the right of the pin, and play it as a mid adjust, and it works out perfectly. I get this one to go. So 8.2 at a mid with a Hornet works out perfectly. I believe, let's see, that is exactly 6 rings, 8.2 at a mid with a Hornet. So that works out perfect. That's one that we're going to want to get to go often in this tournament. This is one of the easier par 4s. It's an easy short iron. It's an easy adjustment. Get that one dialed in, because that's one that if we can get to go, that's a huge one. This one, this stupid par 3, I hate this hole. It seems like there's playing it with a sniper down below is probably the way that we're going to end up wanting to go. So that's the way I tried it with a Kingmaker full left spin the first time here. But it hangs out so far to the right. I did a 30% over adjustment even with the full left spin, and it still ends up catching the rough on the right. Either we're going to need to start our aim position further off to the left or add a little bit of curl. And if we can find a way to play it without curl, I would much prefer that. It just gets pushed so hard to the right. It's crazy. I couldn't believe how far right this got pushed. Even though I did a 30% over adjustment, still catching the rough on the right side. It's crazy. I can't believe how far it got pushed. A 30% over adjustment, so I added 2.4 to play it as a 10.1, and even then it gets pushed so far over there. We'll still be able to save a birdie, but that's just crazy to me. I can't believe how far it got pushed. So that seems like the way that is the best way to go about trying to attack the pin, because it's going to be so hard. You're going to have to offset so much back here. It's wild. I just can't believe it. So I did want to play it a different way with my second go around though. So I wanted to try and play the driver, the quarterback, full left, and I end up going just like as much left and back as I can. The speed here ended up being pretty decent, but again, you're going to have to end up using like a ton of curl, and that's something we want to avoid as much as possible when we're trying to get these par 3s dialed in. So if we can figure out a way to play it in the back, then I think that's a much better way to do it. Because we just have to put so much curl on it that it's crazy. So I did a 10% at 1-to-1 over adjustment. Since it's like a mid, that ends up working out to like an 8.1 ring adjustment. It comes in at a decent speed, like I said, and the speed is kind of what we're looking for there. But just having to add that much curl on there, it's going to be hard to keep that curl consistent every shot. So something that you're going to want to keep in mind. Going to try and work out something on the back tomorrow, playing it back here with the sniper. It's got to be full left, so yeah. I couldn't believe how much that one got pushed. So if you're playing in the back, play with the Kingmaker, play full left spin, add some curl, see what you can do. 30% over adjustment seemed to work out okay for our landing position. Just got pushed like crazy. So, all right, moving right along. This is hole number 8, isn't it? Yeah, so I forgot to screen record my shot here, but it worked out pretty well for me. I did full left and 3 top, playing on the left, and looking to take my second shot off that little island pad and up with a long iron. This one worked out well. I did a 20% over adjustment. I think I'm going to end up needing even more than that, though. It gets pushed like crazy hard to the front, so I think I'm going to do a 30%. That's what I did for my second effort. Was a 30% over. Well, I should say my third effort, because my second effort went in the drink. So similar fashion, I set up my, I got a much higher wind here. I should have probably put a Kingmaker on. But even though it looked, so I start my adjustment off here and do a 20% over. So I played it as like a 12.7, and it still manages to catch the rough and go in a drink. I even over adjusted a little bit more there just because I thought how crazy this was, and just watch how far this one gets pushed too. It's playing so far downhill with this tailwind. It's wild. I couldn't believe that I caught the rough and went into the drink here. It boggled my mind once again. Both of these shots, that last par 3 and this one, are just playing like crazy downhill with this wind. So my second effort, I did pretty much the exact same thing. So you got the I started off my adjustment a little bit further back even. So the white ring touching up there, and then the blue ring touching on the left. So let me show you that again. White ring touching the rough on the top, and then the blue ring on the left. So then 3 full left spin and 3 top spin and 30% over. So I played this one at a 13, and it works out better for me. This is what we were looking for. This is the shot that I wanted the first time, and couldn't believe that I caught that rough and went in a drink. That was wild. So Yeah. Use a wind ball on 7, says Michael. Yeah, that's a definite possibility. Use a wind 5 ball and play in the back. If you've got a Zenith or if you purchased the new pack, then that's the prime time to do it. So yeah, if you're gonna do that one, then for sure. A wind 5 ball is very useful on that one. So, okay, second shot on this hole. I'm going with a B52, and I remembered after my drive to start screen recording, and I'll show you what I came up with. So B52 on the pad. So stretching out, moving back, seeing where in our adjustment this is going to land. So I decided I'm going to play it right at a mid-range adjustment. I didn't want to use any spin for the first shot just to see kind of how it came in terms of topspin, backspin, but full right with the Titan, because the landing position right here is going to kick it a little bit to the left, but full right spin offsets that. So white ring cutting the rough, no spin, no top spin, no backspin, no nothing. And I end up playing it right at 1-1. And it works out okay, but it comes in a little bit too hot. The line was pretty good, but it comes in just a little bit to the right. So for my second effort, I ended up doing 1 backspin. It worked out pretty well for me. 1 backspin and full right, just like this one. Let me fast forward to it. Luckily the wind was the same, so it the same direction on all of these. So my drive after I ended up in about the same spot, see there, mid-range, full right, 1 back this time. This one works out great. I hit the pin, but it bounces out. So much better. I'm thinking we might go with 1 and a notch back to slow it down in case we do catch the pin. It won't bounce out this time. But you can see right here, see the landing position where it kicks to the right? Oh, let me go back. So as you're wiggling it back and forth, see there where it kicks to the right? Right here. We want to be just to the left of that. So just to the left of that is where you want your aiming position to be. And I think we're going to go with 1 and a notch back, because it looks so good. I thought it for sure was going in, but it banged the pin and just barely rolled out. I couldn't believe it didn't drop. But, you know, it's a walkthrough. It's a practice. I was forfeiting everything anyway. So same adjustment, 1-1, bang, bounce, boom, unlucky. So just add 1 more notch there of backspin and look for that landing position where it's just to the left of the area where it kicks your guideline to the right. And that was not it. Where's 9? I thought I had 9. I must not have moved it into the album. Hole number 9. Where do we got it? Here we go. No, not that one. What in the world? I know I had it. Where'd it go? Oh, well. I'll show you this one. This was my better one. I know. No, not this one. What in the world? Oh, yeah, that is it. I skipped 8. I skipped 8. That's what happened. I skipped 8. It somehow went straight to 9. Where did 8 go? I swear it was in here. Oh, well. Okay. Let me go find my first attempt at 8. Here we go. So with a Thor 6 on this one, this is my free-to-play account. I didn't want to fire a Zerker. I just wanted to lay up for my first effort to see what happened. So I went with a Kingmaker, Thor's Hammer 6. Ended up going full right spin. Let me double check and see how much. I think it ended up being like 5 top after I got the full right. Yeah. So 5 top and almost full left. And started my adjustment out right about here, not quite at max, and offset just a little bit to the right to great proof it, and also keep the curl. Oh yeah, I switched to APOC, that's what it was, so I could curl it more. Oh geez, this walkthrough. So just great proof it to the right, full curl, 20% over adjustment, pull back, and that way we can curl it over here and lay up. So if you're going to lay up, then you can also play a Thor's Hammer power slice over there if you want to. But that's kind of the area that we're looking for. If you curl it over there and lay it up for a short iron. The second one plays extremely downhill. It's like a plus 40%. So we can just skip his and go to mine. So I played it as a plus 40 at a mid, and since we're pulling back, I think it ended up being just a little bit too much. So only a Hornet level 7 on this account, so I just end up using full backspin and offset it just a little bit back behind it for the push. It ends up coming in pretty nicely, good speed, but I think I just over adjusted a little bit. Playing it as a plus 40 is how you normally want to do this, but since it's kind of in between mid and min, I think if we do a plus 30, you're going to want to really pay close attention to what you got going on in terms of your distance on your drives. That'll determine whether you're playing as a plus 30, plus 40, what have you. So like I said, I think it was just a slight over adjustment. If we get that same distance, let's take a look and see what our drive distance was, and that way if you get that distance, then what in the world? Oh man, I switched stuff. Stupid phone. That way, if you do end up in here, you'll kind of have a good idea. What was it? 396. So if you're at 396, then I would play it as a plus 30. If you're a little bit further back, then a plus 40. So like say you're like 390, then I'd play as a plus 40 then. But plus 30 if you're at 396 or past there. I think that'll work out nicely for us. So hole number 8, this was the one that I really wanted to show. So this green with this tailwind's drivable if you're willing to use a berserker. I didn't want to fire it on my other account, like I said, because I have a very limited number of them, and I didn't want to waste one in a practice, and I did want to see just how it would play if we do decide to lay up as well. So for the second one, I just decided I was just going to blast it and see what we could do. I did see a power slice on this as well, playing on the right, a power slice that caught the sand and rolled out into the rough or into the green. So if you play that one, then you can do that as well. If you're more comfortable playing the power slice than just trying to hit a full overpower shot, if you don't have confidence in yourself hitting like either a perfect or at least a great on a full overpowered APOC shot. Here you can see I was thinking about trying that slice as well. I didn't see it till afterwards, but I was thinking about it just to see what I could do. But this works out really nicely for us. So APOC 5, I ended up going with a full top and 2. I think I end up switching it back and go a little bit further 2 to the right because I want to catch the rough and have it roll out, and it actually worked out well. So with this wind, full top with an APOC 5 works out pretty good for me. And I do think that playing that slight right spin is the way we want to go, because I think you can catch that rough on the right a little bit easier than on the left. So that's kind of where I wanted it to catch. I did hit it great, but if you can get it to go right there, so like full overpowered with an 11-mile-an-hour wind, then you're pretty much golden. You probably have to adjust it a little bit more based on wind, depending on what you get. Either a little bit less top spin, or try and play it a little bit further to the right, because it does. You can see that the let's take a look at it back here, so you can see. Like right around here where it starts getting a little bit more shallow. So that's kind of what you're looking for. If you get a little bit less wind, then try and get it over there. But it works out nicely, and it'll leave you just an easy wedge right here. Relatively simple, straightforward wedge shot that you should be able to bury in order to make an eagle here. So that's all I got. Might come back tomorrow and live stream around qualifying round. I'm not really sure. So thanks to everybody that joined me live. If you do have any questions, you can hit me up on Facebook Messenger or in the 19th hole page. I'll be in there. I'm officially back in the 19th hole clan with my other account. If you didn't see, I'm in 19 Bushwhackers. So hashtag 19th family. Good to go. So yeah, if you got any questions, hit me up. I'll be back hopefully doing some more stuff throughout the week. And thanks again for being here. Good luck with your rounds, everybody. Hopefully you get qualified and we can get through and shoot some low scores. So thanks again for being here. See you guys around.